Alright, I'm getting ready to go out to Vantage, Washington. I'm just outside of Ellensburg now, and I look forward to clear skies and get a good view of the lunar eclipse on Sunday night. One of my favorite television programs when I was a child was Unsolved Mysteries. They had stories about unsolved crimes. They had people looking for long lost family members. Sometimes there was an adoption. They had UFO stories, which I might see a UFO when I go to Vantage. I could swear I've seen UFOs there. One time I saw about 10 satellites just fly overhead in a very uh, neat formation, like one right after the other. It was it was not along the ecliptic though, so it wasn't over the equator. And I went to look everywhere for any sort of space program that would have that kind of a flight path with multiple spacecraft. Couldn't find anything on that. One of my favorite things to do to hunt for UFOs is I'll look up when somebody would fly from another planet to Earth, when they might arrive, right? So for example, if you live on Mars and you want to fly out of the solar system, the best flight path is actually to Earth first to get gravity assist from Earth to leave the actually to, if you can time it well, you can fly past Earth and get on your way to Jupiter, and then the assist from Jupiter would fly you out of the solar system. So I look up for the dates when it would be advantageous to fly past Earth, and then I go out to look for UFOs, and I could swear I've seen a few. Anyway, I have a couple unsolved mysteries from these past 2 years. Number one, who ate that bowl of infected bat soup in Wuhan in late 2019? I'd love to know more about that person. You know, it sounds like they would have known who they are. I wonder how they feel about the situation. I don't know how I would feel if I ate something that led up to millions of people dying. I don't know how I would feel about that. And I wonder what he has done. I presumably it probably didn't. The infected bat suit probably didn't kill him, but the psychological effect of knowing that you killed a million people, that might have taken his life. I don't know. I'd love to know, though. It's an unsolved mystery. I'd love to know if George Floyd actually printed a counterfeit $20 bill. Obviously, the tragedy that followed was much more important, but it would be nice to know what he was up to, what he was doing that led up to him getting a counterfeit $20 bill. Was he framed by the cashier? Was the cashier looking to get some attention? And even though he wasn't sure if the bill was counterfeit, I just love to know. I suspect the bill was counterfeit in one way or another. The reason being that if it was genuine, you would think that it'd be very valuable, would be up for auction and all that. But the fact that it hasn't shown up in auction probably suggests that it was counterfeit and thus illegal. Right. So when I was growing up, one of my favorite songs was Saturday in the Park by the Chicago band. And I'd like to know, was it written about 2020? Because in 2020, the 4th of July falls on a Saturday, and there's a lunar eclipse. And so I thought the song was very fitting for that. And I actually went to look up when the next time there would be a lunar eclipse on the 4th of July on a Saturday. And it was, if I remember correctly, it was in the 31st century or so, if I remember correctly. So it doesn't come for a very long time. And I went to, well, actually, I went to Vantage, Washington, where I'm going right now, back on Saturday in the Park. I think it was the 4th of July. Unfortunately, there was a pandemic, right? But I went to a park to see it. I thought that was just such a coincidence. And I'd like to know if they were writing it about the 4th. Obviously, they probably didn't know there would be a pandemic, but they definitely knew there would be a lunar eclipse, right? You can predict those hundreds of years in advance, right? I'd like to know why the short squeeze attempt in silver back in February of 2021 failed. I'd like to know if the Federal Reserve manipulated things. I'm kind of glad they did. I've had another year of accumulating silver, and I want to have more years to accumulate. The other reason I'm glad it failed is because there are some things that I'd like to do in my life before I have an event like that, right? So if I remember correctly, the short squeeze in GameStop resulted in this one of the leaders having 50 million or so. And there are some things in life that I like to especially make new connections, things in my career that would be very hindered by me all of a sudden coming into money like that. So I'm glad it didn't happen. But I'd like to know why it failed. Come to think of it, I'd like to know why the Hunt brothers have got bankrupted by the Federal Reserve, how they managed to pull that off, right? I still don't understand the full story behind it. I'm glad that the short squeeze failed, because now I have more time to build my career, my connections, and to accumulate silver. Not the end of the world for me at all. In fact, it's even better. Anyways, if you have any information that could lead to the resolution of these unsolved mysteries, please leave a comment.